Fortune at the bottom of the pyramid served as a catalyst to help companies look at the world's poorest in a new light. In some ways, it reinvented the concept of social entrepreneurship, which is at the heart of everything Fusion Universal does and how we do it. The bottom of the pyramid shows the 4 billion poorest people in the world. They can't access global markets, so have to pay more for products and services. Big companies don't see them as a viable market. In fact, this group actually represents the biggest market opportunity in the world if companies can offer affordable products and services more efficiently. The pyramid of global wealth shows that Tier 1 has 85% of the world's wealth, held by 20% of the population, who typically earn more than $20,000 per year. Tiers 2 and 3 represent the 1.5 billion people with incomes between $1,500 and $20,000. And the 4 billion people at the bottom survive on less than $1,500 a year. Most of today's global companies focus on Tier 1. The fortune at the bottom of the pyramid reverses the pyramid to get companies to meet the needs of the world's poorest. This means not seeing the poor as victims, but as entrepreneurs able to work in the most difficult circumstances and value-driven consumers. The focus is on inclusive capitalism, which creates mutually beneficial partnerships based on trust and respect. Until the poor can access the global economy, they won't have any real chance for sustainable development. Logic says there's no revenues to be made in developing countries, but in reality there is. Companies that benefit are the ones able to shift to lower-cost production models with smaller margins and mass adoption. Take India, with 1.2 billion people and GDP per capita of around $1,000, the market opportunity is $1.2 trillion. But if you consider a dollar can buy up to 4 times more in India, the market opportunity is closer to $4 trillion. The same is true on a smaller scale in Nigeria and South Africa. By virtue of the market size alone, this is a huge opportunity. To access opportunities at the bottom of the pyramid, companies have to combine low cost, quality, sustainability, profitability, and rethink how they go to market. Unilever has done this successfully and achieved more than $6 billion annually from these markets, and in the process helped to create millions of small-scale entrepreneurs, providing people with affordable world-class products. Generally, the poor lack capital and can't access traditional routes like banks because they don't have any collateral. This means they pay huge amounts of interest to local moneylenders, making it almost impossible to generate opportunities to create wealth. If lending organizations are able to consider local customs and networks, they can provide cost-effective opportunities for the poor to generate sustainable incomes. Grameen Bank started as a small community lending organization, but now provides loans to more than 25 million people around the world and have a 95% repayment success rate. Central to their success was their ability to focus on local solutions and networks. Global companies aren't good at accessing local markets in rural areas, but there are creative local companies that are building distribution models to reach these areas. For example, in Africa, it was the global telecommunications companies that introduced networks to the large coastal cities, but it was the local companies that were able to expand these services to reach millions of rural poor by using existing local distribution networks. This not only provides income for the companies, but also provides much-needed service for the poor rural communities. To generate wealth from the bottom of the pyramid, companies can't rely on the same products and business models they use for developed markets. They need products specifically for the poor, with profits based on big volumes, not big margins. This means the new business and production models have to be scalable and easily localized. For example, Unilever realized that the poor don't buy in bulk from supermarkets, so they created single-use packets for local markets. Because they're buying smaller amounts on a daily basis, products have to be high quality to be successful. Unilever realized they need a high-quality, low-cost product distributed through local markets to achieve success in developing countries. To develop and organize markets, companies have to work in partnership. Empowering the poor through access to buying power, better choice, and opportunities can threaten existing local power structures, and opposition can develop quickly. Companies that build a local base of political support stand a much better chance of long-term success. Creating a coalition of non-government organizations, community leaders, and local authorities is important. These partnerships can leverage local knowledge and insights to help develop sustainable businesses. Working through local partners is important because you have to integrate local practices into your business. Understanding existing practices can also lead to innovative new products and services. It's the big companies that need to lead these new partnerships. Building new markets requires capital to build infrastructure. Companies can use their experience to build capacity and transfer knowledge. Companies act as a bridge to unite these new partnerships, and they're in a great position to transfer any new innovations back to the Tier 1 markets. Fortuna at the bottom of the pyramid has had a huge impact, as can be seen by the number of graduate and MBA programs that now cover these principles. The book was one of the first to look at more sustainable paths at reducing poverty. Ultimately, this is only a piece of the development puzzle. It doesn't have all the answers. But it does introduce the concept of dignity and choice as important factors to consider when providing products for developing countries. It also introduces the notion that companies' responsibilities towards their customers go beyond just the production and sale of goods. Fusion's social enterprise works within the core principles of inclusive capitalism, taking the best of the corporate methods and tools to provide world-leading learning solutions in developing countries. By working with local partners, we aim to provide equal access to quality learning at the lowest possible cost to millions of young people, while providing sustainable opportunities for our partners to generate income and grow their local networks. At the same time, providing access to high-quality learning tools builds critical skills for the next generation to access opportunities in the 21st century workforce.